Hey guys, I'm Practical Gaming and welcome back to another installment of the top indie games that I managed to find in the past month. Now this is out a bit later than usual, but I did manage to find some genuine gems of indie games and I cannot wait for you guys to see them. We've got a bit of a mix yet again, some strategy games, some puzzle games, but less fast-paced games in general, so I really hope you like what I've got to show you. As usual, they're all free and I'll put the links to the Steam pages in the description below. So, let's get into it. First we have Grabby Tusks by Galaxy Shark Studios, a 3D puzzle platformer that has you exploring this space gallery run by a small box-like robot. You wander up in a space pod to the gallery as only the second people to arrive there due to the untimely demise of the first one, and you have to prove yourself to the creator, this guy, that you are worthy of his work. The gallery is called the Gallery of Refined Gravity, and, as you may have guessed, to get through it you have to use the power of gravity with this special glove. Not the strongest powers, mind, as the game strongly emphasizes, but it's enough to get you from A to B. With it you can create a cylindrical gravitational pull that drags all objects including yourself in that direction. You have to use this sole game mechanic to make your way through pretty challenging puzzles using these markings on the wall or on special cubes whilst avoiding lasers and other falling objects. The cubes can be used to block lasers, build paths or even open new paths by smashing up windows. This game runs very smoothly for an indie game and is very polished with not many issues with the controls, which when looking for games on Steam can very easily be a deal breaker. I'm a big fan of puzzle games, so this could have easily gone under the radar as there are a lot of subpar ones out there. But what made it stand out for me is the humour of the curator. Not a lot of indie games can pull off making such an enjoyable, hilarious and awkward character, but I really enjoyed the dialogue in the game. He's just such a goofy, socially inept character that over-obsesses over his creations that I can 100% relate to, and his relationship with She, the PA, is comedy gold. He also pulls off many faces while talking to you, which shows his constant mood swings and is very well animated. This game uses gravity in a clever way and it kinda gives me Portal vibes with the humour, the mechanics and the overall game setting that you're placed in. Gravitas is a difficult and fun to play game, but if there is one criticism, I wish the game was a bit longer. It kinda felt like it came to an abrupt end in terms of story and I felt like there was a lot more puzzles that could have been made or extra game mechanics introduced to really flesh out the experience. You could also focus the camera more on what's going on during the cutscenes, like the curator or the level to come. I get the whole free roam thing, but I think this could really add to the game in terms of using the dialogue with the scenery. It's not a very long game, it will take you an hour at best to complete, but it's free and you get to have a good laugh with the curator who is a genuinely funny character. Next up is Rise of Legions by Broken Games. Technically I don't think this is strictly an indie game, but I included it into the list anyway because I had a real blast playing it. Rise of Legions is, in their words, a hybrid of a MOBA, tower defense and deck building game, and I can see where they're coming from. The main gist is you play 1v1 or 2v2 end-to-end games and you have a set amount of soldiers at your disposal. There is a tower at the end you have to destroy in order to win. If the enemy destroys yours first, then you lose. However, the game starts even before you enter the battlefield with building your deck. You have a selection of 12 slots in your deck. 9 for the battlefield and 3 for your base is the standard, though you can change it up based on your strategy. The cards at your base consist of spawn soldiers which when placed will periodically make their way to the enemy, whereas the other 9 slots can be spawned in any area you have dominance over. These slots can be quick spawns of soldiers or area of effect spells which affect the enemy. However, you can't spam these all at once. They all have a cooldown which regenerates over time, so you have to plan your moves quite far ahead. There are around 4 or 5 different types of soldiers and abilities that you can choose from. However, your deck can only consist of 2 at most, so that it's not totally OP. You have a selection of archers, brutes and regular foot soldiers in each type, but it's up to you what the composition of your deck is. I've never really played any form of deck building game before, I've only watched others play it, so this is effectively my first crack at it. And I've got to say, it's really a lot of fun. There is a lot of strategy that goes into your deck composition, when to call over soldiers from your spawn, and trying to counteract the type of deck that your opponent has. If you're not used to these kind of games, it can be difficult to start off. I kept just spawning soldiers literally right next to the enemy's archers like I thought that was going to work. But after some time, it can get really intense if you're playing against somebody good. And there's a good chance of that because Rise of Legions has a fairly decent online community at the moment, so you'll always find a game. My criticism though is with the camera, because sometimes it would pan way off sight of the battlefield, which isn't great because things can change so quickly and I have to react, which I can't do if I can't see anything. They do have an option to return the camera to base with the spacebar to recalibrate yourself and quickly add spawn monsters, but I'd still like a bit more of a steady camera. I'm usually put off by these kind of games, but after experiencing Rise of Legions, I'm more open to the idea of playing them and I really think you guys should check it out. And finally we have Shepherd of Light by Bad Seahorse. I really didn't know what to expect from this game. From the description, it was a student-made game where you play as a young shepherd who's lost his sheep in yet another puzzle game. But out of the 3 on this list, this is definitely the one that pleasantly surprised me the most, by far. The story starts with a young shepherd who wakes up to find his sheep have gone missing. His father, who seems to be speaking from the gods or something, tells him to find the sheep and bring them back. However, it's not as simple as just collecting the sheep. There are wolves hiding in the darkness that will stop your path and can only be stopped by the sheep's light. If you pet a sheep, they will come to you and follow you, and you can direct where a sheep can go. All the sheep can be used to create and forge new paths, however they all have very different abilities. There are 4 types of sheep. The light sheep, which is the only one which can fend off the darkness of the wolves, so if there are 2 wolves then you need 2 light sheep to cross. The lightning sheep, which kind of acts as a power source, and if you have 2 of them or more at specific markings you can form a bridge. These sheep, alike to the next 2, are too weak to fend off the wolves, so they have to be accompanied by a light sheep to pass. There's the fire sheep, which all interact with each other to create a fire circuit. There are pillars in the world that can ignite flames, and you can create a chain reaction using the sheep to blow up certain paths. And finally, the shadow sheep, which is the most unique as there's only one of them, and this is the only one that you can directly control and can cross the shadows by themselves. Once you have them where you want, you can call them back at any time. I am really amazed at how well the game mechanics work in this game and how the developer managed to use them to create some really difficult puzzles. Considering this is done by a student, yes, a student, this is very impressive, and there are very established game companies who can't produce gameplay like this. The music that accompanies the gameplay fits perfectly and gives off this eerie kind of mysterious vibe to it that keeps you a little bit on edge and works well with the idea that darkness is all around you. But at a certain point it gets kind of uplifting as you uncover more sheep and bring them back to the pen. Shepherd's Delight has a certain charm to it, from the simplistic drawings and text to the walking ball of flame you play as to the bright and colourful staff you use to control the sheep. I really enjoyed playing this game. Alike to Grabby Tusks, it is fairly short and can be finished in under an hour, but it's the kind of game that you will thoroughly enjoy every minute of playing. Well, that's it from me. If you enjoyed, then leave a like, subscribe, and make sure to leave a comment down below about what you guys thought about this month's indie games. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.